This weekend, I saw something absolutely insane on the internet, and I think that you should pay attention to this. So first, it all started with a tweet from President Biden. Here in the tweet, he said, "Under my predecessor, the deficit increased every single year. This year, we're on track to cut the deficit by $1.5 trillion, the biggest one-year decline ever. It matters to families because reducing the deficit is one of the main ways we can ease inflationary pressures." Then from there was a random Twitter account that quote-tweeted it and seemed pretty innocent. And here they said, "This is so silly. Deficit is decreasing because we're not doing pandemic aid anymore, and federal receipts are up because of inflation. Congress or the Biden administration didn't do anything to lower the deficit." Now, this just looks like a casual dunk from a pseudonymous account on Twitter. But here's where it gets really interesting. Jeff Bezos, one of the richest people in the world, he got on Twitter and he quote-tweeted the quote tweeter. Bezos came in hot and he said, "In fact, the administration tried hard to inject even more stimulus into an already overheated inflationary economy, and only mansions saved them from themselves. Inflation is a regressive tax that most hurts the least affluent. Misdirection doesn't help the country." Now, I've got two major takeaways from Jeff Bezos' tweet. The first is that the absolute worst nightmare for politicians is if some of the best entrepreneurs of our lifetime are armed with Twitter accounts and they're not scared to speak their mind. Having Jeff Bezos come in and do this, it's quite embarrassing for the current administration, regardless of whether you like Jeff Bezos or you don't, or even if you agree with him or not. If all of a sudden the Jeff Bezoses and the Elon Musks start to actually put out in public their thoughts, it's going to change the conversation. And my prediction is that we're going to see the pendulum swing back in favor of capitalism, business, and the idea that businesses, startups, and capitalism actually solves hard problems. The second takeaway I had was that Bezos is actually right here. He starts talking about the fact that while inflation was raging on, the current administration actually did want to inject more liquidity into the market. And ultimately, inflation ends up hurting those who don't understand it. The people who are in the most dire financial position in the entire country. They're the ones who are hurt by inflation. 45% of Americans have no investable assets, and inflation is absolutely punishing them. So Jeff Bezos is right here. We must either educate these people or we must get inflation down. The ideal scenario would actually do both at the same time. Now, of course, we're never going to get any sort of reconciliation of this. We won't get any admission of guilt from politicians. But what we are seeing is a sea change where the best entrepreneurs in the world, they have those Twitter accounts. They no longer think it's off limits for them to actually voice their private opinions. And what my guess is they're going to apply pressure, and lots of it, to many of the politicians, many of the elected officials, and also the central bankers to get inflation under control, to not push America into a recession, and to simply allow the free markets to do their job. Now, ultimately, we're going to see how long it takes for that to occur, and I wouldn't hold my breath. But seeing Jeff Bezos starting to tweet, I for one am enjoying it. And I tend to think that between him and Musk, we're going to see many, many more successful entrepreneurs start to do the same exact thing. Hey you, did you like this video? Great, we make 5 of them a day and post them here on this channel. Make sure you subscribe, like the video, and see you next time.